let's take a moment from the overwhelmed feeling we have of just having done this shoot, because it's really hard to do, right? We're kicking through the process. We're really close towards the end. Let's take a break because we have really chunked through the system process, haven't we? Should we take a mental break? Yeah. All right, I think we take a mental break and we talk a little bit, because this is a part of this entire process all the way through. Let's talk about the idea of active listening. None of this is possible if we're not listening. We don't know what they want unless we're listening. We don't know how to sell to them unless we know what they want, which we need to listen for. And we don't know how to overcome objections unless we're listening. I want to do a little bit of a chat with Mr. George Varanakis, who is now heading up photography. I do believe he's waiting in the wings about sales. George, would you like to join me?
Sure.
There we go. There we go. Hi, George.
Hi, how are you?
So nice to see you.
So nice to see you.
George and I are friends. We actually went to prom together. Most people don't know that.
Oh, you're going to go with this again? People are actually going to think we did.
All right. You guys all met George, right?
Hey, everybody.
All right. Tell us a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of a break from what we've been doing. Thank you for giving us a break.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
You wouldn't believe how hard that shoot was. We're exhausted.
Are you guys exhausted? Yeah.
Isn't it hard? It's a hard job.
You're doing a great job, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, right?
Thank you.
She's awesome.
Aww.
Big round of applause for Tamara.
All right.
You're doing great.
I'll take it. So you, if we're going to dial back a little bit, what is your new job here at creativeLIVE?
I am running the photo division.
And doing very well.
Oh, thank you. I've been here like 10 days.
Oh,
so,
it's been a transformative
It's been an amazing 10 days so far.
All right, for George, everybody.
All right. No, it's been amazing so far. I love it.
Yeah.
The people here are so nice, creative, no pun intended, and just passionate.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it so far.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying, and you guys have all gotten a sense of this, but when you come into creativeLIVE, and not that we're stopping to do a commercial for creativeLIVE, but everybody here is so nice, right? Like, nice. And what did I talk about earlier about likability? Niceness can wear off after a while. They're actually likable. They're friendly, and everybody's real, and everybody's hustling and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of hustle. A lot of hustle on the set.
How are you finding that? Because you're obviously still transforming from all suit at WPPI.
I tried to, I was going to be on camera today, so I kind of wanted to.
Yeah, well, you were half
represent.
suit, half jeans.
Yeah, half suit, half jeans. Usually I'm all suit, tie.
Yeah.
Kind of, easing into things.
I like it.
Next time I'm on camera, it'll be like shorts and a tank top.
Smoking?
Smoking, just like super comfortable, So yeah, tell me. Like.
Yeah. So in terms of your new role here, what does it entail?
I'm in charge of bringing on speakers.
Okay.
And also creating new revenue streams and things like that. Kind of what I did at WPPI.
Can I come back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll let you come back.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
What you did at WPI for 9 years?
Yes.
All right. And that was mostly sales.
A lot of it was sales. I started out as sales and then moved over and kind of oversaw the trade show, oversaw the magazines.
Yeah. And when you first started doing sales, it was super easy for you, right?
Oh my God, I was terrible. I was awful. My first sales job out of college was at Rangefinder. I've actually been there twice, and I sold advertising. And I'll never forget my first day. I was just like, Mr. Jones, you want to buy an ad? No? Okay. And I would just hang up and like crawl under the desk. And I would just go home and be like, this is not going to go well. This is terrible. It was really bad. And then as time wore on, like, you kind of find your groove and you figure out that the best salespeople that I have ever seen always ask questions more than they talked. And I think that's the key really to sales, is that if you ask your clients questions, they'll tell you everything that you need to hear. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of tailor your presentation that way. Mm-hmm.
And is that something that you learned to do?
I learned to do,
right.
I didn't have this. I didn't have creativeLIVE to watch.
I know, right? I didn't either initially.
Yeah, it would have been great. It would have like saved me a lot of stress.
I know.
When I was just starting out.
Right, we had to claw our way.
I took my lumps.
Through snow,
through snow, bare feet.
Yeah.
Foot.
Hungry.
Whatever. Hungry.
Okay, so as you've been evolving throughout this sales process, what do you think is the biggest mistake people make? I mean, obviously not listening very well, but what else?
Talking too much. Like, you don't ever go in just straight pitch. That'll never, ever work. My job was a little bit different than what you guys do, but it's all kind of the same. I mean, never lead with the pitch. Always ask questions to figure out what your best tactic will be. Once they tell you.
Sorry, let me move this. To be fair, it's right on you.
It is.
There you
and
go.
I talk with my hands a lot.
Yes.
So. But no, that's really the best way to go is ask questions, don't talk too much, and figure out what they want to hear, and then tailor your pitch from that. So the biggest mistake I see are people talking way too much. I worked at major magazines and big time publishers, and I'd be in meetings with them, and we'd literally go into an ad agency and they would sit down and it would just be like, can pitch. And that never works. I mean, it'll work maybe sometimes, but for the most part, ask questions. That's your best.
Yeah. You've told me before about people coming up to you at WBI, and timing matters, right?
Timing is also key.
Yeah.
Timing is also key. Even this past year, I'm working like 18-hour days.
Right.
So I just want to go to the bar and have a beer at the end of the day. And I would get approached every 5 seconds, like, I'm going to be the next Jasmine Star. You have to put me on next year. And I would be like, I just want to sip my beer. Like, please. Timing was it was terrible. Now,
yeah.
I get that they saw me and they're like, that was their chance.
Yeah.
But the timing was terrible because as soon as they said, I want to speak next year, or I'm going to be the next Sue Bryce or Jasmine Star, it was like, okay, yeah, great. Don't call me, I'll call you.
Right.
So.
And somebody coming up and saying, I want to be the next anybody, is setting yourself up to fail for so many reasons.
So true. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Really. Don't try to be somebody else.
Yeah. George Varanakis is already taken.
That's right. There's only one.
Yeah.
There's only one.
But it's true in so many, and that is, I think, one of the biggest errors that people make when they're trying to learn a sales process, which is why I'm trying so hard to say, let me give you a lot of what I do, what other people do, what the general themes are, because if you just trying to say, I want to copy this exactly, that is...
It'll never work.
Yeah.
That's what, in kind of finding your groove and kind of how I did through kind of going up the ladder, I picked different things that I liked about different salespeople that I thought were good. Something like this, maybe your process might not work for everybody, but they're going to pick certain things that work for them.
Right.
There were certain things that I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. And there were other things like, oh, that was really good. I'm going to use that. So
Yeah.
as you go, you kind of pick up certain things that kind of work for your style.
Exactly, it collects them for you.
Yeah.
So what do we have to expect with the ongoing changes with Creative Live that you can share with us now?
We've got some amazing speakers lined up that will be announced in the next couple of weeks. You guys are going to love them. There's some exciting stuff. And just going back to being creative and being here, again, no pun intended, but it was like my third day, and just sitting in a room, and we came up with like a game-changing idea, I think, for the photo industry.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am
and
too.
All this stuff will be announced, in the coming weeks, months.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of what we've been talking about is this sales process. What you do, what you hear, when you listen, how you respond, clarifying, etc. I asked you the other day to sell me something, didn't I?
That was I can't believe you did that. It's like, you go, okay, at the end of this, she goes, sell me this pen. I was like, what? Which was kind of funny because it brought back like nightmares. Because I was actually on an interview, this was like 10, 12 years ago, at a major magazine, and the publisher, I literally sat down and I was like, hi, I'm George Varanakis, and he was like, sell me this pen. And I was like, and it was like a nightmare right back. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so I don't know, it was kind of off the cuff is what we did. It
Yeah.
wasn't kind of that natural sales process, but.
No, but it was perfect because within 3 minutes of being sold this pen, we were able to go back and we sat down upstairs and went through each piece of, okay, that is where he listened, that's where he did this, and what we're doing, we're going to show you this little 3-minute clip and we've got a little label at the bottom that says what's happening in the subtext of this seemingly 3-minute talk.
Is there something that says, I can't believe she asked me to sell me this pen?
No, we didn't have our little pop-ups.
Oh, okay.
So do you think we could roll that clip? Is that something that can be done easily, as I just say that from here? Awesome. Okay, so do you think maybe you could sell me this pen?
We'll see. First of all, I would ask you, like, so what kind of pens are you using right now?
God, when I can find a pen, I'm using just like, it's like a roller ball or something.
Do you love that pen?
No.
No? So you really want to find like a pen that really like you love. Like you want to carry it in your purse, in your ear, on like anywhere. So it's something that like you have all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you about the Bic Sharpie X1000.
What about that?
Well, see, now I'm already going into my canned sales pitch, but like I want to keep asking you questions about like pens. Now,
Yes.
I don't really know that much about pens, but like when you're writing, like what do you use your pen mostly for? Besides writing, of course, but are you writing a lot, like in a journal, or are you just like taking notes, or like what exactly are you doing with said pen?
I mostly try to use it to write thank you cards to clients.
Okay,
That's
so
a
you're
lot
not
of what I
like writing like 800 pages for a novel that
No.
you're writing.
No.
You type that.
Yeah, I type that.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
For your novel. All right, great. So this pen that you're looking to find, you're using like a roller one right now?
Yeah,
and it's
like
just not working, smudging everywhere and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's smudged. Okay.
It's kind of annoying.
So I think you'd love this one because this doesn't smudge.
I hate smudging.
See, who doesn't hate smudging? Because then you have to start all over again, and then it gets all over your hand.
Yeah.
I had one yesterday. It was all over my hand.
Yeah.
So this pen actually does not smudge, which is great.
Yeah.
And you can carry it anywhere. You can put it there.
What? No way. It has one of these?
Yes, it has one of those, which is amazing, right?
It is.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, it's like, it's very, very quick. Some pens, it takes a while because you have to press really hard down.
Right.
This flows.
Whoa.
This pen flows.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I love flowing pens.
Who doesn't love flowing pens?
I can't tell you how much I want that pen.
You know what? Write something down with this pen, and I'll
I
just
can
show
do
you.
that? It won't hurt the pen?
By the way, I feel like the ShamWow guy right now.
Oh my gosh, it feels really smooth.
Isn't it great?
I love it.
Right. So when you're using that pen to write notes and write thank you cards to your clients.
Oh, it's not even smudging.
And it doesn't smudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, how much is that pen going to cost me?
$19.99
$99 for a pen?
for a pen.
That seems really expensive.
It does.
I don't have enough wall space for it. What do I do about that? I mean, it sounds great, but it's a lot of money to spend on a pen.
It is, but this has a 10-year guarantee. So if you lose the pen, we'll replace the pen for you. And
No way.
charge. Yeah.
You know, I lose pens every day.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Because most of them don't have this little thing that you can put right there.
I love that. Well, you know, I think it's a great idea. I probably have to talk to my husband about it.
Well, bring him in, and you know, if he has any questions, I'm happy to answer at any time.
Yeah.
And you have my number, so you can call, and happy to do it.
Okay.
But wouldn't you, if you took this pen right now
Yeah.
for $19.99,
Yeah.
10-year guarantee, what more do you want?
I don't know. I think it makes me look fat.
This pen makes you look fat.
Well, look how thin it is.
It is, but you know, it comes in black. So there you go.
Sold.
Sold, done. Where do we sign?
Right now, I want that pen. This pen is not good enough. I want that pen.
I can't believe that. Oh my gosh, every trade show that I'm going to go to for the rest of my life,
Hey,
everyone's going to be like, hey, sell me
me
this
that
pen.
pen.
That's great, thank you, that's great. Oh my God.
Okay, so as ridiculously over the top cheesy as that was.
What do you mean? That was like my best ShamWow impression. I felt like I needed like an English accent. It would have been like complete.
But you see, like, in terms of those little line-ups at the bottom, what is happening in the flow of the conversation? There's objections, there's responses, there's clarification, there's easing pressure. There's saying, okay, I understand that, and then there's this. So it's a way, you know, we kind of move through it in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way.
Very true.
But
Very
I bought
true.
that dang pen.
Well, it's a nice pen.
Yeah.
And it's got a 10-year guarantee.
I know.
Which is important when you're buying a pen. I mean,
Especially
that's the
one
first
like
thing I
that.
ask.
He's still selling.
Right,
I know.
exactly.
He doesn't stop. Does anybody have any questions from George about sales or pens or drinks at the bar? Do you have any drink tickets on you?
I do, actually.
Oh,
Left
that's
over
wonderful.
from last year.
That's wonderful. If you ever went to WPI, George is known for giving out drink tickets. So he's like a magnet. People just,
I
ticket.
think it was more than just the
Oh,
drink tickets,
oh.
but thank you, whatever.
yes,
Appreciate
it was just that.
Right.
That was great. It
Yeah,
really,
thanks.
really, we were laughing all the
Oh
time.
man, I'm never gonna live
The
that
part
down.
that resonated with me is, can I talk to my husband about buying this pen? Because I think all of us hear that a lot. So you ease the pressure off the client instead of opting to close it right then without her speaking to her husband. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But did you
is
see
that-
Right.
that he also came back? Because of course you can. However.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was, I was like, uh-oh, here goes that sale kind of thing, and you want to bring him
Yeah,
back.
I mean, how important do you think it is to, like, you gotta close it right now, or
It just
can you let?
depends. Like, you kind of have to feel out the situation. There are times when I would probably let her go, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of, and then you follow up with like, and you're kind of building that relationship, and it really just depends. No one likes to be sold to.
Right.
No one likes a hard closing pen guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who goes to the used car lot every weekend, you know, just to like buy a car and you get sold? You know, no one wants to do that. So you just really have to feel it out. And it just depends on really kind of where you're thinking this is going to go. Because a lot of times people aren't going to want to be hard sold right
Yeah.
there. They're going to want to go think about it a little bit. And that's where you kind of build a relationship and with follow-up and things like that.
And that has a lot to do with setting your intention for the meeting, right?
Right. I actually go, before every meeting, sales meeting, I write down 3 things. What 3 objectives do I want to get out of this meeting? Do I want to build a relationship? Do I want to upsell them into something? Do I want to, push a certain, do I want to, for you guys to be like, do I want to get them into more like canvas prints or things like that? Do I want to build an album with them? So that's always the one thing that I always try to go into is like, what 3 things do I want to get out of this meeting? And it really helps because once you have your objectives, you're going in with like a plan instead of just winging it. If you're winging it, like, who knows what could happen? So that's one thing.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. You become ShamWow pen guy.
Yeah.
Right.
That is what you don't do.
Right, exactly. So always write down 3 things before you go into every meeting. 3 objectives. What do you want to get out of this?
And that is good because sometimes the objective is simply to continue to build in the relationship, And in the large picture, we're going to talk about this a little bit later, in the larger picture of a long-term client relationship where you see them many times over the years, if you have a lower sale one time, that's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of advantage to be gained in that because you let them know that you're not like going to get weird on them or anything. Like, all right, that's cool. I'll see you in a year. It's fine. Bigger picture. Smaller obstacles.
The soft sell is always, for me, has always been the way to go. So if you let them leave, that's okay, but you follow up after.
Yeah, and I, we were talking the other day about how when you bring in speakers and stuff, there's a bit of sales obviously involved with that, And when you reached out to me about hosting WPPIU in Atlanta, you started out like, hey, how's it going? And then you did list the benefits. There's going to be this. There's going to be this. There's going to be this. But it was super cool, like you were selling, but it didn't feel like sales. It felt like a conversation.
Right, and because I was passionate about WPPI.
Yes.
And when you're passionate about something, it's not sales because you're just selling you, really.
Right.
And I think that's also key. And for you guys, you're all passionate about your photography, passionate about what you do. So you're not going to come across as like pen ShamWow guy. You're going to be very passionate about how you sell. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And I closed with, in our conversation, I have a lot of drink tickets. Yes. And you were like, sold, I'm in.
That's true. Know what your client's real desires are.
Right. Drink tickets.
Exactly. Very good. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I had one question for George. So if I understand things correctly, you have a great rapport with a whole bunch of people in the industry. I'm just curious what your attraction to creativeLIVE was. I'm kind of a creativeLIVE junkie, so I'm a huge fan and supporter of the business in general. So I'm really excited that you're here. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm just curious about what it is that brought you in.
I see creativeLIVE as like the next frontier for education. I mean, it is so amazing what I guess it's hard because I've only been here 2 weeks, but what we do.
Yeah.
I've noticed Creative Live from the second they came on. I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. You don't have to leave your house to learn, and that's amazing. And you can watch it for free, live. It's great. And then if you want to buy the download later, that's great too. And keep that learning process going.
Even better, really.
Even better, right. So, I mean, but there were so many advantages to being able just to watch it on your computer and watch it live. I loved it.
Yeah, so passion, sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the model is very transformative. I have a formal education in photography, and I've learned exponentially more through Creative Live. Nothing bad about where I went to school, but but when you're bringing in the best, and you get feedback from around the world. I just think the model is not only from a creative standpoint in this particular genre, but I think the idea is absolutely fantastic. So.
Yeah, the idea is
I agree with you
genius.
is what I'm really saying.
Yeah.
And,
no, it's great.
And you and I have talked about this, but when people, because I've been lucky enough to talk to a lot of speakers who are considering coming on Creative Live with conversations, and I've been asked, again, because this is the 4th workshop, what are the parameters, what it's in it for you as a speaker. And one of the forms of currency that you can't really pin down is this amazing connection to everybody suddenly, and obviously you're able to get some of that year-round with social media and stuff, but just in the last few days, the amount of questions that have come in, the amount of correspondence I've had, the amount of going back and forth, the amount of affirmation of like, you literally, that, when I say life-changing, I mean life-changing, soul-securing, et cetera. You hear things on such a level that it's so significant that as an instructor, you can't help but say like, I want to be a part of that, I love that. I love that. That is the big form of currency, because yes, you do private workshops and this and that, and this course is $99. I mean, that I don't know of a course like this, probably because I built it, but I don't know of a course like this where all of this, when you watch it start to finish, what it can be for you. So it really is. I mean, I understand the passion to join this.
Oh,
big time.
No doubt, and it's real time. I mean, people can ask questions right now.
We are screwing up live.
Yeah, right. Which is so cool. I mean, you don't get that type of interaction with anything else out there. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to be a part of your live introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing me on.
Yeah, you did
I
great.
appreciate it. Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Anything else you want to add?
No, I
We
think
have
that's it.
questions for
What?
George.
Okay,
Oh.
questions for George.
That
Okay.
interactiveness that you just
Yeah, here
talked
comes the
about.
interactiveness. Great.
That's right,
wait, hold on a
George.
second.
Internet is
Just
here.
make sure they're
And go.
okay.
Question.
All right.
Okay, question for George. This is from Gina Maria Photography. What do you do if you really can't close the deal that day? What should you do to stay on top of it?
Follow up is key. Always follow up. Some of the best. Oh wow.
It's live. You can
It's live.
ignore
Yeah.
that. You don't
Ignore
see
that.
that.
I didn't see anything over there. Not the ghost that just ripped down that shade. The key is follow up, and you don't want to pester them to death, but you also just want to let them know that hey, you're still there. You're still there for whatever services they might need. Maybe you send them like a thank you card. Some of the best speakers for WPPI, which is funny because they always sent thank you cards and everything after they spoke or after we had a conversation. Before I even like booked them to speak at WPPI, it was like thank you so much, and that goes so far. And that's one thing that like I've tried to incorporate into like my sales process is just like a nice handwritten card if they can read my writing. But
You need a pen.
yeah, I need the ShamWow pen. But no, that follow up is really really important. So.
And also that likability factor. When you're following up and you've built a rapport that's genuine and simple and you based in terms of genuinely who you are, follow up isn't a pain. It's like, hey, when
Right.
you call him, George, great to hear from you. How's
Right.
it going? Like it's not bothering me. It's nice to hear from him.
So in the example that you gave where she might have had to go home to ask her husband to buy the pen, do you then encourage them to come back in together? Or
Yes.
do you just call, you would encourage
No,
them to
I would
come
encourage
back?
them to come back the next day if they wanted to, or when it worked for
Okay.
their schedule, and you could talk pens with the husband and wife.
When it relates to photography, you can nip that in the bud, photography sales specifically, by simply setting the expectation that when the time comes for this ordering session, all the decision makers should be there.
And I do, but
Yeah.
sometimes, oh, my husband couldn't make it, he's working. So
Yeah.
then, you know,
you
like,
say,
and then
get out of there. Just get out right now.
just leave.
Or you just
Leave.
book an appointment right there for a follow-up appointment. Okay, how about Monday? Why don't you come in
Yeah.
and do something like that?
Yeah, and especially if you can, that's the nice thing about having some sort of communication prior to a physical meeting, like right up front. If you learned at 2 o'clock that he couldn't make it, I'd rather know that than you show up and let's reschedule.
Yeah, if they are leaving and you didn't close, try to book a follow-up meeting with the husband or whoever the other decision makers are.
Right there.
Right there.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So another question from Trina CU2 is, when is it time to let go after following up several times?
You know, probably after the third time, I would say, and that's probably a little much. If you don't hear from them after 2 times, probably just cut and run.
Cool.
So. Would you agree? No?
I still like you.
Oh, okay.
But that's the point. We have completely different things. Yeah.
I would probably
and we're
say
selling
3,
different things.
but yeah, we are selling different
Yeah,
things.
because
What
for
would
me,
you say?
if I've already done the work, I'm not as apt to let it go because I've already invested the 8. If I'm selling a pen, you know, or if I'm asking for somebody to sign up for a service,
Right.
you know, or step forward and instruct a course or be a sponsor at my booth, that's totally different because you're initiating it, right?
Right.
I'm saying in the case of sales, if the follow-up is you've already done the whole shoot and it's just getting the meeting to happen, then would your answer be different for that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it would. And what would you do?
Well, statistically speaking, it's after the 4th try that most of the closes happen, which is
Okay.
bizarre because most of us give up after the first follow-up. Well,
So
crap, they
we'll
didn't
go
call
with
me
4.
back.
Yeah, see, I'm already learning
Do you
stuff.
see how likable he is?
Right.
It's all good.
I just agree.